Welcome to Explain from xelectrix Power. Today we want to take a closer look at one of the features of the power box, the peak shaving. Shaun, what is a peak load?
I'm glad that you mentioned, Judith, that it's one of the features. Obviously, the power box has got many features that we can actually bring to the table. But peak shaving is one of the most important. Peak shaving is basically when a commercial entity or a warehouse or actually any entity that draws power to power their consumers, this power comes from the grid and will come in kilowatt peaks. So if you can imagine that I've got consumers requiring power, the kilowatt peaks will come in basically a load curve. The thing is, in Austria, Germany, and actually most countries around the world, is that if in January, for example, I have got a kilowatt peak that reaches 100 kilowatt, that basically sets my monthly rate. So if I'm paying X amount of money per kilowatt, because I've reached a certain peak for that month, that will determine the rate that I pay for the complete month. This is not to be confused with kilowatt hours, which is the consumption, and the consumption is basically kilowatts over a time period. We shave kilowatts.
Okay, and the power box from xelectrix can cut these peaks. How does this work?
We would basically take a power box, we would put it next to the entity, we would, through plug-and-play technology, very quickly to install. But the principle is that we would use battery power to actually shave the peak, which is where the name comes from, peak shaving, which is basically taking the kilowatt peak, and through the onboard inverter in the power box, we use the battery power running through the inverter to lower that peak. It's got a direct influence on your monthly bill and massive cost savings.
I see. And how can a company now find out if the energy storage is profitable for them?
That's where we come in with our energy engineers. It starts with the load curve. So we would need preferably a 1-year load curve based on 15-minute intervals. We take that, we do a simulation, and what we do is we match the perfect xelectrix product to that load curve, making sure that the inverter capacity and the battery capacity gives the best results in shaving the peaks, obviously trying to give the best results for customers, which is cost savings.